Letting go of fault-finding cogitation. This is by Rav David Yisrael Kalmus, Light of the Infinite. A singular focus is a very nuanced, subtle, refined pleasure and delight. Singular focus is a very nuanced, subtle, refined pleasure and delight. Can you imagine having a singular focus? All of you directed into a channel. I've never actually given up in my life, starting early, giving myself time to settle in, looking forward, and preparing for presentations of self. Always a dynamic process versus the constricted mind without the quality that allows for proper application of thoughts. Reel them back in versus spiraling, and depends on our level of positivity. So if we don't give up in our life and we start early and we give ourselves time to settle in, we can look forward to prepare for different versions of ourselves presenting and always be in a dynamic process. We have to recognize we're not, expansive kind of living is the therapist, the healer. We can be our own therapy, our own therapist, our self-therapy, self-healer, is to find the gift in the wound. When we're not thinking our own thoughts or we're not enjoying freedom of experiencing thoughts directly, we end up feeling unkept. We leave things unkept, denied, hidden under masks, repressed, and this is when we start to go down the spiral. We don't even know what's pulling us in. So that's when we could start to reel our thoughts back in. This can depend on our level of ability on our positivity. And when we think of shortness of breath, like you're breathing a very small amount, like your lung is here and your nose or your mouth, versus your lung ends all the way down here. So to be able to take a long breath is very different. Shortness of breath is stress. Deep, relaxed breath is basically we're meditating because we're able to be in singularity of focus. And it's not in isolation, like an all or nothing. Where it's all bad, all good. Rather, we can have an hour of personal seclusion and achieve a tranquil state of being outside, quote unquote, of the matrix, right? And yet still be in the society. We get to enjoy nature, whether it's a field, a forest, or a river, or even other opportunities for aloneness, essential for happiness. And as we experience the divine, inside experience, quieting the external self, in personal progress, in the senses, in the yearnings, in the resources, as we make space for blessing, we find that we are being nullified. The self that we thought we were, like a personification, a personality, a presentation. Bittul in Hebrew means like nullified. I want to share Aline Lapierre talks about nonverbal imprints, which are I exist, I'm loved, my needs are important, when they are imprints that are nonverbal, they make an imprint on us, that, and we all have other ideas about ourselves sometimes in our head. We don't have to go there. We can just focus on this. I'm safe. What's mine already belongs to me. There's no person to fear. And I want to also share a little bit differently, loving touch and vocalizations. It could be a lot of things. It could be firm. For touch, it could be firm, soft, caresses, strokes, spooning, pressure, rubbing, tugging, grazing, gripping, squeezing. For sound, it could be saying in the moment what I'm feeling and what I'm wanting and needing. It could be speaking up without burying it for later. It could be screeching or snorting or groaning or murmuring, gasping, snake-like, or roaring. Talking and affecting from the inner being. Affecting meaning the affect, which is the emotions. Trusting the real expression to flow and not feeling ashamed for enjoying or wanting pleasure from someone. These are parts of loving touch and vocalizations. And one last thing I want to say is that even though the mundane can look like a crust, right? It's like the sweeping the floor, the changing the couch cover, washing the dishes, changing the linen, going to the store, even if we forget something, going back, doing a favor for a neighbor. It takes massive background revolving databases to keep track of household products, supplies, cleaning tools, ingredients, and then food prep and timing, remembering when the food was purchased, cooking it, even the chemistry and math involved with baking and boiling and roasting, and dressing the home in confidence, style, modesty, and inviting balanced appearance in the textures and the fabrics and the colors and the detailings, and normalizing or adjusting feedback to all who share the household, whether it's food or hygiene, regulating nervous systems, emotional expression. And it may just look like the external, but it's what goes into it. So today we covered an interesting sort of like, we're injecting into the mundane, the crust of what we see in the food and the outsides, right? It's almost like the crust of everything we're looking at has something inside. And our touch, our vocalizations, and even our imprints that are nonverbal, and even our thoughts. So we are injecting now I forgot the word. I said it before. Singularity of focus. So what we get from that is a nuanced, subtle, refined pleasure and delight. So in our sounds, in our household chores, we can have that in a singularity of focus state of being. Have an amazing Shabbos, lovely, rejuvenating. May we all laugh more and more and more. May we laugh at the absurd and the hysterical and the joyous. May we feel joyous. May we love Hashem. May we see how much Hashem loves us. May we feel held like a baby by Hashem. And may we have delicious treats and feel satisfied and get fresh air and feel healthy and be in a shape that be in shape and have good friends and be a good friend and learn Torah together and alone. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.